Well, they made it out. Aha, it is. Saxon.
He's got the TARDIS. He could be anywhere in time and space.
No, he's here. Trust me.
Who is he?
Oh, he's here.
That voice at the end, that wasn't the professor.
If the Master's a Time Lord, then he must have regenerated.
That was the voice of Harold Saxon.
That's him. He's Prime Minister. The Master is Prime Minister of Great Britain.
In fact, I'd go so far as to say that what this country really needs, right now, is a doctor.
EC directive, sir.
And your budget, sir. Policy recommendations.
Toss it.
You just stand there and look gorgeous.
That she is, but that's kind of.
Let the work of government begin.
I got that feeling.
It's obvious. The forgery is screaming out, and yet no one can see it. It's
Hmm.
as if he's mesmerized the entire world.
Yeah, he might have done something.
I made my choice.
Oh?
Sorry.
Oh, she knows.
For better or for worse. Isn't that right, Harry?
My faithful companion.
Oh.
I am the Master. And these
Whoa.
my friends.
You said Archangel was 100%.
99, 98.
But if she's asking questions, then who else?
That was kind of similar to Tenant there. Mm.
What was his policy? What did he stand for?
I don't know. He always sounded good.
Convincing.
Like you could trust him. Just
Whoa.
He spoke about.
Look at these angles.
But it was good.
Medical student.
Oh, man.
He knows about me. What about my family?
Don't tell them anything!
That's why Tish is there.
Mum, has there been anyone asking about me?
Yeah.
Martha, I think perhaps you should come round.
I can't. Not now. You'd never get back with him in a million years.
Ask him yourself.
She's kind of. Is she trying to tip him off? Sorry, tip her off?
Is there someone else there?
Come on, Dad. Yes, Dad. She's got style. I like her too.
But I'll find you, Martha Jones. Been a long time since we saw each other. Must be, what, 100 trillion years?
Technically.
I like it when you use my name.
You chose it.
Ah.
Carter's field day.
As you chose yours. The man who makes people better. How sanctimonious is that?
Ah.
So, back home.
Back home.
Where is it, Doctor?
Gone.
How can Gallifrey be gone?
It burnt.
And the Time Lords?
Just you two, huh?
And the Daleks. More or less. What happened to you?
Dalek Khan's still out there.
Resurrected me because they knew I'd be the perfect warrior for a time war. I was there when that Dalek Emperor took control of the Crucible.
Whoa. Lore.
I saw it. I ran. Made myself human. So they would never find me. Because I was so scared.
And I tried everything.
What did it feel like, though?
Wow.
Two almighty civilizations burning.
Do I ever get to see that?
My God.
Been alone ever since. But not anymore. You see, all we've got is each other.
Here come the drums. Here come.
The tension, though. Oh my God.
You can see us. Oh, you public menace. Start running.
Doctor, what do we do?
Oh.
Doctor! Run for your life!
We're on.
The never-ending darkness, the terrible, terrible cold. We have to run and run and run.
8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
802, right?
People.
So, Doctor,
Go on.
Who is he?
Dig for some answers.
The Ancient Society of Time Lords created a psychopath.
And what is he to you? Like a colleague or...
Friend at first.
Thought you were going to say he was your secret brother or something.
You've been watching too much TV. There stood the citadel of the Time Lords.
Oh.
The oldest and most mighty race in the universe. Looking down on the galaxies below, sworn never to interfere. Only to watch. Some say that's where it all began. When he was a child. That's when the Master saw eternity.
Whoa.
Staring at the raw power of time and space, just a child. Some would be inspired. Some would run away. And some would go mad.
There's something I haven't told you.
It's in the phones. Oh, I said he was a hypnotist. Wait. Hold on. There it is. That rhythm. It's picking away in the subconscious. What about now?
Oh.
I know you're there, but I don't want to know.
Back again.
Almost like the perception filter.
Doesn't make us invisible, just unnoticed.
Hmm.
It's like when you fancy someone and they don't even know you exist. That's what it's like.
You too, huh?
Oh man. You might notice. No? Whoa. You could tell he had a feeling, but he didn't quite clock them. He's such a troll.
Say I use this perception filter to walk up behind him and break his neck.
Hmm.
Now that sounds like Torchwood.
Oh, hell.
Still a good plan.
I'm not here to kill him. I'm here to save him.
It's not gonna end like that, is it, though? Oh, TARDIS. There it is.
Sounds like it's sick.
Oh, he's using it for something, isn't he?
No, it can't be. Doc's machine.
Paradox machine?
As soon as this hits red, it activates. At this speed, it'll trigger it.
802.
It's past 8.
Yeah, how are we gonna stop him?
Oh, I've got away. Sorry, did I mention it?
3 a.m. in the morning on the east.
Everyone's about to see the president go.
President Winters has
For as long as man has looked to the stars, he has wondered
He feels
what
it.
mysteries they hold.
If they stop me, you've got a key.
Yes, sir.
okay.
And I asked
Go on, Martha.
I'm taking control, Uncle Sam. Starting with you. Kill him.
The look on her face.
Stop it now! As if a perception filter's gonna work on me. And
Hmm.
laser screwdriver. Who'd have Sonic?
Whoa.
Good thing is, he's not dead for long. If only I had the doctor's biological code.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait a minute.
I do.
I do. What if I reverse it? Another 100 years?
Whoa.
Doctor, I've got you.
Ah, she's a would-be doctor. End of the world. Here come the drums!
That look. Whoa.
new dominion as master of all. And I thought it good.
Right then, there it is, the second last episode of Series 3. You know, I've got to say, I'm so happy that I got to the conclusion. I'm pretty much near the conclusion of the series. I'm so happy that I got here much faster than, you know, the lead up or the run into Series 1 and then Series 2. It's all in the past now, but you know, I'm quite happy about this, that, you know, I'm really in there now. And you know, this is gonna continue for the rest of 2021. A lot of Doctor Who coming at you, and I'm so happy about this. Yeah, and you know, in that sense, this almost perfectly mimicked the climax of Series 2's second last episode, right? The forces of antagonism in that one happened to be Cybermen, and the big shocker right at the end, the Daleks come floating out, right? And everything just seemed hopeless and lost. I mean, it was at that point in time. The Cybermen had taken over. And then on top of that, you had the Daleks come right in. And that set it up nicely for the finale of Series 2. There's a similar feeling here, right? You know, the Master certainly came out on top. He you know, through this episode, you know, throughout this episode in the 45 minutes or so, you see how he systematically just made everything happen, and he had all these plans in place for some time now, you know, plans against the Doctor and some of his companions. You know, in that sense, it really had this feeling of him trying to break down the Doctor, and he really breaks him down right at the end as he ages him rapidly into an old man. And you know, in that sense, a bit of a parallel to the last episode, Utopia. You know, the Master is an older man in that, and he has to regenerate into a younger man. And you see how annoyed he was about that he's this old man, but then he regenerated. Now he's flipped it. Now he's turned the Doctor into an old man, right? So that certainly presents an interesting dynamic for this next episode. Is the Doctor going to be in that form for most of the episode, and then at some point he's just going to turn back? I mean, he is going to turn back at some point. This is not the type of thing you see often, right? The look on the Doctor's face, even older Doctor. Before I go any further, how about the incredible music? Oh my goodness, that Gallifrey scene, the song or the music that kicks in, the score accompanying that scene. Brilliant, just beautiful stuff, man. And Murray Gold is the composer. You know, I'm happy to finally know the name and say it, and show, you know, give my respect, and show respect to someone quite brilliant. Some of the best shows of all time, you know, and some of my favorites of all time, stuff like Lost and Hannibal and Game of Thrones. I know, you know, Game of Thrones, the ending is, yeah. All of us know about the ending, but of course, you know, for a long period of time, Game of Thrones was incredible, right? And I mean, right till the end, you can't fault the music. Ramin Djawadi's music was incredible right till the end, and that's one of the standouts of really good shows, right? The music. It feels like it's part of the show. It's part of the fabric of the show. And I'm, you know, at this point in time, I get the same feeling from Murray Gold's music. It's so unique to this show, right? Identity. That's what I meant. It certainly gave Doctor Who this identity, right? A distinct identity. And I'm a big fan of this score. And again, you know, speaking of Gallifrey, again, you know, the visuals and the music together and the Doctor's commentary explaining it. One of the best scenes of the series. Again, I had goosebumps. And I got to see this mythical citadel on Gallifrey, right? Citadel of the Time Lords, and it was beautiful, beautiful. So it appears these Time Lords, they used to be these omnipotent beings, right? Or a race that used to just kind of watch the galaxy, right? But they don't interfere at all, right? I was really liking the costume design on some of these elders, I suppose I can call them. And I noticed there's some kind of logo on their shoulders, some kind of brooch, or I don't know, I saw some kind of logo. But yeah, the costume design, wow. yeah, I really got the elder feeling from those few that showed on screen. And the one actor that showed, and you see the fade in, I feel like I've seen him in stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just mixing his face up, but mixing his face up. But his face seemed familiar to me. But yeah, I just absolutely love that scene. And I love how they've handled the lore drop in this. They've built it up. They've built it up, and I've been excited, and I've been, for a long time now, I'm like really dying to know about Gallifrey and some of the past and the lore of the Doctor, right? And the Time Lords. This episode really gave me some substantial info on that, right? Through this flashback as the Doctor is explaining it to Captain Jack and Martha, and through the one-on-one conversation the Master and the Doctor have, right? That was quite effective as well. Even though it's over a cell phone, it really did feel like a face-to-face conversation, and that comes down to the editing. Great editing in that scene. Now, this Gallifrey scene also gave me some exposition, right? Some much-needed background info on the Master, and even some info about the Time Lords and some of the customs, right? So they take children at the age of 8 and from their families and send them to this academy, right? And the initiation is quite a I don't know, for, as the Doctor explained, at the age of 8, that's quite a big thing, a major thing to go through. You're meant to stare at the raw power of time and space through this untampered schism, right? And he really made it a note to, put or emphasize just how substantial that is, to put, or to have an 8-year-old in that position, right? And he explained, some can handle it, right? Some can't, and some go absolutely mad. And he also said some run, right? That's part of the ones that couldn't handle it. So some run, and some are inspired by it. But yeah, the one that that links to the Master is the last bit, right? Some go mad. And speaking of the other scene, the Master and the Doctor, speaking over the cell phone, a great scene, fantastic scene. There was just a small moment. You really get to see the Master kind of open up, right? Almost like a heart-to-heart, as he, tells the Doctor just how scared he was, and he had to run. And of course, that comes full circle now, because he ended up at the end of the universe, basically at the end of time, right? As that older man, Sir Derek in Utopia. So yeah. That scene really was quite good. It brought the Master up to speed in terms of Gallifrey and the Time Lords, and these two being the last of their kind. But of course, you would think if there's just two left of a rare species, an ancient species, a mythical species, you would think that the best case scenario is that they team up and they stick together, right, for the rest of time, perhaps. But unfortunately, it's quite clear that the Master has no notions of anything like that. He is hell-bent on being the master of this new dominion. Essentially, he said as much right at the end there, right? So of course the Doctor has to bring him down. Now, he did specify that his goal is to save him, not to kill him. But unfortunately, it's not going to go down that path. He doesn't have to kill him. Just like the Daleks, I mentioned Dalek Khan. You don't have to kill them to defeat them. There's other things that could happen. Dalek Khan ended up escaping, but for the time being, he was defeated and he's out of the picture for now. So, it's not a given that to defeat the Master, Doctor has to kill him. There's other things that can be done. Staying on the Master, like I surmised in the last episode, he does have this Loki-esque feel about him, right? This loose cannon, unpredictable entity, right? The bringer of chaos, perhaps, right? Bit of a madman, right? But you also see that there is a method to the madness. You see a lot of different sides of him in this episode, and you even see the music that accompanies him. Different types of music. Sometimes you'll see him act a bit goofy, right, and over the top, and you notice the music is also a bit comedic, or it really matches the tone of his behavior. Then you see him get serious and angry at other point, and at times he's even like a child in his disposition and behavior, right? Again, it goes back to him going mad, right? So you see that depicted here, and I thought the actor did a great job of depicting that unpredictable nature of his existence, or this character. Yeah, so yeah, he is a bit of a megalomaniac, isn't he? He's got an ego on him. So like I said, a lot of different sides to him. So there was this whole concept of, him being this mesmerizing or hypnotic presence, right? And so much so that people like him, but they don't, the moment they're asked about it, and, this pertains to the doctor asking Martha and even Captain Jack. Now, they knew they liked him, right, for some reason, but they couldn't quite answer, right? They couldn't quite verbalize it. They just didn't know. At one point, it was even kind of starting to feel like Inception, that he was able to plant these ideas, right? He was subtle about it, but he was able to plant these ideas. And then these people who clearly liked him, they couldn't quite explain the reasoning behind it, but they knew they liked him. And then, one of the constant things throughout the episode is the beat of the drums, right? But again, it was explained that it was through this Archangel project later in the episode. They explained this, and that he used a satellite system to use cell signals and be subtle about it, right? But he was quite effective. So, he might be, as the doctor explained, a madman, but there is some method to his madness, right? Controlled chaos, perhaps. Now, speaking of Martha, you could tell she was kind of done with it all, right? She was quite frustrated. She was quite annoyed. And at one point, she even told the doctor that it's his fault that all of this is happening, right? Again, it goes back to that concept that, she loves this, but of course, she's not able to overlook her family, right? She loves her family. She has quite an attachment to her family, and seeing them in such danger, you see her priorities, right? A few times in this episode, the doctor tells her to not do something. She's like, nope, I don't care. Like, she's angry, right? She's like, no, I don't care. This is my family. Don't you dare tell me not to do this, right? It had that kind of feeling. But going back to the conclusion of the episode, Martha certainly has to lead she has to mount the comeback or the fight back from outside, right? And I'm sure her brother's going to help out. And I am quite excited to see how Martha handles this, because now I get to see her in one of the trickiest, probably the most trickiest situation she's been in, and she's by herself now, right? She has to save her family, and she's not going to have the help of the doctor or even Captain Jack at this point in time. So it'll be really cool to see her by herself and how she figures things out and her plan of action. I think she's going to get her big heroic moments, even though she's already had those throughout Series 3. But this is, a different scale. So yeah, excited to see how she handles this situation. And of course, then you have the Doctor and Captain Jack on the inside. Hopefully they can get something going on the inside as well. Our beloved TARDIS is... it's being used for nefarious reasons at this moment in time. But, on that end, isn't it just so beautiful anytime the Doctor and even the companions get reunited or see the TARDIS after a long time? I had the exact same feeling and expression as I saw the TARDIS. I just wanted to give it a hug. But the one thing I was really surprised about is the opening of the episode. I was quite surprised that the cliffhanger, one of the best cliffhangers I've seen so far of the whole series, it was resolved quite easily or quite quick. I was not expecting that. I thought it's going to play a bigger deal, or it's going to be a bigger deal than that. But they did that and resolved it quite quick, right in the opening of the episode. I mean, it's understandable. You could see the reasoning behind it. This episode covered so much, right? In that 45-minute span, they had to cover a lot of ground. And in that sense, the pacing, it's quite a bombastic pace. It almost kind of felt like every 10 minutes or so, or every 8 to 9 minutes or 8 to 10 minutes, a plot point kind of begins and resolves, in that time span, and then they go to something else, to the next plot point. So they had to cover a lot of ground in this. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed, perhaps. of how they resolved, or how quickly they resolved that amazing cliffhanger. Now I say that, but the cliffhanger itself, it was these future kind almost bursting through, so it had to be something quick. Quick on your feet type thing. So in that sense, it also does kind of make sense that it happened so quick. Another interesting thing that came out of this episode is the fact that the Time Lords, or at least these two Time Lords, the Doctor and the Master, they pick their own names, right? In that sense, their names perfectly describe them, don't they? The Master, the megalomaniac, ego-filled Master, and then you have the Doctor, the person who makes people better, right, according to the Master. And in that sense, that name is quite effective. It's quite fitting, actually, because one of the things I've brought up a few times throughout the first 3 series now is the fact that, yes, there's a lot of baggage that comes along the Doctor, but one of the things that's been quite clear is that the Doctor helps people be their best, or be their best selves, right? He helps them unlock that potential, or get to that potential, reach that potential. I've seen that in a few stories, different characters breaking out of their shells, or, doing their best. So yeah, it's an adequate name. Yes, there's a whole other side to it as well, the bringer of destruction, death and destruction and all that. There's baggage, but there's also this side. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like. The likes really do help the channel, and they help us get noticed, right? And show up in search results, and and other Doctor Who fans can find this. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like. It takes a split second. Consider dropping some comments. I love to hear from the Doctor Who fans. You guys are some of the most respectful and knowledgeable I've come across in my time on YouTube. So it's always nice to see the comments from you guys. If you are interested in full length for this episode, or even early access to the finale right now, consider checking out the Patreon page. Check out the different listings there. Consider checking out the pinned comment. The pinned comment does have the link to the Patreon page, and it has links to my social media. Right then, that's about it for this episode. Just the one episode left, the grand finale for Series 3. Like I said earlier, I got to it much quicker than Series 1 and 2's finales, right? So I'm really happy about that, and I'm happy to continue. So thanks for checking that out. I hope to see you soon. Take it easy.